We have had about a little less than 2 weeks of team workouts, so we'll have one more today. We'll give the guys the next 2 days off, and we'll actually start our first official practice on Friday. Even though the team workouts, we've been able to get a lot of work done with everybody on the court. I like the progress our guys have made during the off season. I think we're bigger, we're longer, more playmakers than the last couple years at a lot of different positions. We're really focusing on on the offensive end. We got to shoot better from the field, shoot better from the three, shoot better from the free throw line, and then defensively, it's just proven that the best defensive teams in the American Conference have finished in the top 2 or 3 every year, if not won the championship. So it's an area that I think we're good at, but we can get better at. I like the connection our guys are playing with. I think there's a greater trust. I think because of all the different situations that happened last year, I think the weight of the world was on a couple players and they felt they had to make plays all the time. I think we're playing with a greater connection and a greater trust. So I like the progress. I'm excited about today's workout. Yesterday's was really good, and give them a couple days off and really get back at it on Friday afternoon. Just a couple updates, and I can go into more detail. Lexus is doing well. He still is in no contact. We'll probably have a evaluation early in November, so in the next couple weeks, to see what the next step will be. But the next step will be from going from non-contact to going light contact and then going full go. So feel good about his progress. Again, as I've said time and time again, it's important we keep it on the cautious side right now, because the season's been moved back. That helps a little bit for him, and because really with only 3 new guys in the entire program, with Prince and Russell and Caleb, we're able to play live a lot more in practice and so forth, which I think is going to be good for us. And at the same time, it will be good when Lex is able to get into that, to be able to start playing right away. We went live yesterday, full court, for the first time since we had our team practice at TCU the day before the conference tournament. You know what I mean? That's a long time. That's a long time. And there was a few times that our reflexes on the sidelines were tested with the balls flying all over the place, which is typical. But again, the energy and the effort was really there. And then the second tidbit on the roster, Zach Dawson has opted out this year. All the athletes were given that opportunity. He was the one that decided to do that. Full support of that, and he's done a great job in classes over the summer, doing a great job this fall. So we obviously continue to take care of him when it comes to the academic piece and different things like that. And as we progress at the end of this year, we'll figure out what the next step is. Okay?
Well, he was the point guard. Zach maybe could have been a candidate. So is it X's job? What's kind of the outlook there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that we have is with Castaneda's played, started so much of last year, and we had to kind of move Q a little bit more off the point. They kind of shared those duties, and obviously Caleb Murphy is more than capable of playing that position as well. In addition to that, David Collins during his freshman year spent about half the time playing the point. The one thing on our break, which initiates our offense, we have multiple guys now that can be the what we call the push guys. The guys that are blasting the ball down the court, and that gives us more diversity in what we're trying to get done. There was a lot, to be honest with you, especially when X wasn't in the game, where Q had to dominate the ball so much. And I think that allows the defense to to key disrupt that one particular guy. I think we'll have much more versatility in our offense because of that.
Coach, how hard is it to plan a program where the landscape can change in a day or an hour?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I have the 30 practices planned until the first game, but you got to be, you have to be really flexible, so it is difficult, and that's why you got to go back to, and you can talk about any sport, but you got to go back to your core goal, your number one goal, and our number one goal is to be better today than we were yesterday. And so no outside situation can change that. And that means if it's you only got 6 guys in practice, you got to still find a way to get better today. And the one thing is, if you can continue to do that and keep that as your number one objective on a daily basis, then eventually when you get guys back or whatever happens, you're able to continue to move forward as a team. And I think our guys have done a really good job of that in terms of focusing on, okay, we got the whole team together, we're still going to get better individually and get better collectively. If you don't have the whole team together, it's time to get better individually. So, we're preparing for the 7 non-conference games that we're able to play now. I'll be honest with you, we don't have our non-conference schedule done yet. We had games scheduled with the ACC, the Pac-12, 2 SEC teams, Big Ten team, Big East team.
All this year.
All this year. And, gone. And so now you got to do we're trying to keep at least 2 or 3 of those Pac-12, Big Ten, SEC type games. We don't know what the home schedule is going to look like in November and December. I do know we're going to play 2 conference games in December, which is different. But we don't have that set yet either, so it's hard to figure the game around those because you don't want to schedule a game on Thursday at home and then now you have to travel to Houston for a Saturday game, because obviously those games are more critical. So it's been an interesting dance that we've been doing with the non-conference scheduling, and it may not be done for another couple weeks. That's why we got to focus on us right now and take it from there.
Coach, I guess it's been about a year since Lex got hurt. Is he on schedule? Any setbacks, or is this about what you expected?
No, he's on schedule. You always, with you make progress, and then there's always going to be a little bit of a plateau with the. And again, it wasn't just the injury that he sustained last year. He had that pre-existing one earlier when he was younger, and the good thing is, through his workouts and through the evaluations and all the stuff with the doctors, that knee is better than it's ever been. So now it's just about getting back and playing and taking that next step, which is the next step is, the full contact. So that to get back and playing is usually a full year. So he's on track. He's done everything, and is in really good shape right now.
Coach, last time we talked, you sung the praises of Caleb Murphy, of what he was doing. How does that growth continue? Where do you really see him developing even more?
Yeah, obviously he's got a chance to be a special player. The best thing for Caleb Murphy is he's surrounded on the perimeter with veteran players. So although we need him to make an impact for us, it's not like he's doing that on his own. You know what I mean? He can play all 3 perimeter positions, which he will. And he's just got some gifts that are just natural. Now he's got to learn what the college game is like. Possessions are more important in the college game. Defense is much more important in the college game. He's got great length and great quickness, so he's got a chance to be a really, really good on-ball defender. Young guys always have to learn that you got to play off-ball defense as well. And he's been well schooled, well taught. It's just the consistency, and everything that when you it doesn't matter if it's football or basketball or soccer or tennis. To jump from high school to college, everything you do is intensified, from your academics to the impact you have in your social life, to practice, to games. You got to do things at just a much more intense level.
Coach, football's put parameters on how many players you have to play. Do you expect basketball to say maybe you got to have at least 7 guys?
That's a good question. We talked about that in our conference meeting. Because let's say you have 7, but 6 of them are post players, and you only have 1 guard, and now you got to go play West Virginia. How fun would that be? You know what I mean? So that's going to be discussed. Nothing has been determined yet. That will be discussed. The one thing I think we're starting to see among the college basketball coaches is there is some compassion and some understanding. We may not be able to play this game. You know, we got 7 guys, or we got, you know what I mean, or 3 are walk-ons. You may not be able to play those games. So it's going to be, we're allowed with the MTE, we're allowed to play 27 games. I think we'd be, that's what we hope to play. But you've seen it in college football with the cancellations, postponement, movement. You don't have as much freedom in college basketball to do that. Now, I know the thing that we got to protect is those 20 conference games for sure.
What has it been, you said, since pre-TCU, the 1 full court, and for players, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids with uncertainty still on the schedule, just where are they at mentally?
Yeah, again, I'll go back to what I said. I think our guys have done a tremendous job, because with all the outside distractions and all the outside uncertainty, I think our guys, because we have a veteran group, have been able to kind of laser focus on, okay, the most important thing in our program is self and player development. So let's focus on that. Let's focus on getting better. And I can go down the list. And David Collins is a much better player. Now, we haven't played live and full court and all that stuff, so there's going to be some sloppiness in that. But that Jameer Chaplin, Xavier Castaneda, Michael Dorr, Luke Anderson, all those guys. And a big thing in our program is, you don't control the events, but you control your response. And the better the response, the better the outcome. So we've just tried to control that. Now, I would say this. I think as coaches, we've become much more aware of the mental toll that this has taken on all student athletes. Our guys primarily, in a lot of ways, are living in a bubble. They're at their apartments. They're at the Muma Center, and they're back at their apartments. Caleb Murphy's a freshman. He's never walked into a classroom here on campus. He's never walked on campus and seen people walking by, and you know what I mean? I feel for those guys. I really do. And I think, because of that, we have to have a little more understanding and different things like that. Because I think you've seen across this country, there's been a mental fatigue that has taken place among everybody. And our guys are going to be no different than that.
You mentioned, trying to be more of an offensive team. Could Anderson and Ojora be guys that could give you, 12, 15 games?
I don't know about points or minutes. No, yeah. I think we're going to be better offensively because we have more weapons and so forth. But I do like Prince has an knack to put the ball in the basket in a variety of ways. best part about him and Russ right now, they're big, strong, they play hard, they can finish around the basket. You know, so I feel confident in those guys in terms of really helping us on the offensive end. They got to help us on the glass, and they got to help us physicality-wise around the basket as well.
And then one more,
Yeah.
what's the difference? What are you guys able to accomplish in a real practice as opposed to like that?
Not much. The
Okay.
team workout is just usually a shortened practice, to be honest, and maybe a little more focused. So like last week, our team workouts were completely dedicated. We called it defensive training camp, where we installed our man-to-man defensive system. Again, for the veterans, just for them, and they did a great job of taking the new guys and helping them out, and that's something we're trying to do more of. Create a little bit more of that, as I said, connection. But that was really good. So now, like yesterday, we probably went live either in a controlled setting of 4-on-4 or 5-on-5 for more than half the practice. So you would never have done that in mid-October when you're starting practice. But now we're going to be able to do more of that.
How gratifying was it to see another Oakland University alumnus come up so big in baseball?
You know what's funny is in the tweet we had talked about the Golden Grizzlies, but when I played, we were the Pioneers. We weren't the Golden Grizzlies. But yeah, I mean, the sports stories of this city right now are just incredible. You know what I mean? And the Rays last night, but I'll be honest, I didn't know he went to Oakland until the announcers talked about it. You know what I mean? It's one of the bad things about not being able to go see him play during the year and different things like that. And I had a 2-week depressed state that I had to get over from my Cubs playing so poorly at the end of the year as well. You know, but yeah, it's not just the Oakland aspect. His story is an incredible story. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not dreaming big, if you don't have big dreams, then, why are you even around? And he did, and his dreams were really big, and he just kept working and chugging along and digging it and got the job done. So I'm really happy for him. I'm happy for the Rays and obviously with the Lightning and their win. And so it's been a good couple months around here.